Right, okay, here we go. Right, piece of string goes into a bar, right?
Yeah.
Goes up to the barman and says, "Hello, can I have a pint of beer, please?" And the barman says, "I'm not serving you, you're a piece of string." He goes, "Oh." So he walks out the bar. When he gets out the bar, right, he starts bending himself in a big loop. And after doing it, he pulls himself tight. And with the top of the string, he starts doing this, like, sort of pulling it apart at those, right? And then he takes a deep breath, and he goes back into the bar again. And he goes up to the barman and he says, "Can I have a pint of beer, please?" And the barman says, looks at him, and he goes, "Are you a piece of string?" And he goes, "Afraid not."
Okay.
Okay. You
Right.
can tell it to me if that's
Okay.
pretty off.
So there's a piece of string that goes into a bar, and he says, "Can I have a pint of beer, please?" And the barman says, "No." And the piece of string says, "No." Well, why? Why? What? No. No. Why not? And the barman goes, "I'm not serving you. You're a piece of string." So the string goes out into the street, and he gets himself and he wraps himself all up in a load of, like, in a coil, and he gets a little bit up the top here, and he sort of teases it all out. So and he pulls it tight, and he goes back into the bar, and he says, "Can I have a pint of beer, please?" And the barman says, "No, I'm not serving you." And the piece of string goes, "Well, why? What's the matter?" And the barman goes, "I'm not serving you. I'm afraid not." Sorry, you're afraid not. No.
Right, let's work this one out. Let's go back through the stages.
Right, where does it go wrong?
Right, think about it. He's done all this to himself.
Yeah, he's gone in.
And he goes back into the bar.
Yeah. And the barman, and he says, "Can I have a pint of beer, please?"
Yeah.
And the barman says, "No, I'm not serving you." No, it's something about then, because surely the barman has to say, "I'm afraid not."
The barman doesn't say that, "I'm afraid not."
Oh, right.
And why would the barman say, "I'm afraid not"?
Right, so he walks back into the bar,
Yeah.
and he says, "I'll have a pint of beer, please." And the barman says, "Who are you?" And the piece of string says, "I'm afraid not."
It's nearly. It's better. It makes more sense.
Afraid not goes into the bar and says, "Hello, I'm afraid not."
Dad, do you remember me ever saying that?
Well, it's definitely the afraid
Shall we
not.
go back to the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay, piece of string.
Okay. A piece of string walks into the bar and says, "Can I have a pint of beer, please?" And the barman says, "No." And the piece of string says, "Well, why not?" And the barman says, "You're a piece of string." So the piece of string is really gutted, and he goes out into the street, and he gets himself, and he rubs it all around. He rolls himself all around himself, so he's like a coil. And then he gets it like in a noose around his neck, and he pulls it really, really tight. And then there's a bit of, like, rope at the end. Like, spreads it all out all over the place. So now it's like a little Mohican. And then he gets himself together, and he goes back into the bar, and he says, "Hello." And the barman says, "Hi," and he says, "Will you serve me?" And the barman says, "I'm afraid not."
The barman isn't afraid not. The barman's the barman.
The barman says,
The piece
"Hello,
of string is
I'm
afraid not."
I'm a barman. Are you afraid not?"
Why would someone say so? Excuse me, are you afraid not?
No, okay. It can't be that. That can't be the punchline.
Right, we know where we got to get to,
Right.
which is
I'm not sure where we've got to get to with it. What's the punchline?
the punchline is no, I'm afraid not.
Okay, fine. So anyway, where should we take it from?
Well, we know about the fraying bit.
Right.
Okay, we're doing
So we
that.
phrase it at the top. Oh, I just spat everywhere. The bar. So this piece of string's put this piece of string around itself and pull the noose really tight, and there's an end, and he frays out the end, so it's like a frayed knot, and then he goes back into the bar. And he sees the barman and he says, "Hello, barman." And the barman says, "Do you come here often?" And the piece of string says, "No, I'm afraid not."
Okay, right. So what we've got there is we know that the barman has to ask the piece of string if he's a piece of string. Right? It's got to be.
Oh, yeah.
You see, the piece of string
Yeah.
has to be. It has to be a question that the piece of string
Right,
can answer
okay.
truthfully.
Okay.
All right. So we know it now.
Where
So
should we take it from?
let's take it
From the beginning, I think from the top.
Let's go from the beginning. So we know. Now think about what he's going to say when we go
I
in.
think I need to get some more wine.
Think of the
while I do
interchange.
that.
So think of that second interchange at the bar, because
Right.
I think you're making it needlessly complicated.
Okay. A piece of string walks into the bar. He says, "Can I have a pint of beer, please?" The barman says, "I'm not serving you. Not after last time." No, sorry, that's the one about the crab. Okay, I'm going to go for the top. A piece of string walks into the bar and says, "Can I have a pint of beer, please?" And the barman says, "I'm not serving you. You're a piece of string." So the piece of string walks back out into the street, and he gets himself and wraps himself all around himself in a coil, like so. It's a noose round his head, like a noose.
You're quite obsessing about the fact of noose. I've never once said noose.
Round the noose, and he pulls it tight, and then he gets the end bit and he sort of frays it out the top. And I shouldn't say that bit about the fraying, because that really gives. He just teases the ends of the piece of string.
Just does
out.
this.
He does this. So the piece of string gets himself and rubs himself all around himself, and rubs it all around his neck.
Rubs what?
There's a piece of string up here, and he like spreads it all out.
It's still him. He is the piece of string.
And he gets himself and he rubs himself all around.
Rubs.
He wraps himself all around himself, all to the neck, until it's a noose. And then he gets this end bit, and it's all tight. And he makes it all loose with his fingers. And then he goes back into the bar, and he says, "Hello, barman." And the barman says, "I'm not serving you. You were in here earlier. Aren't you a piece of string?" And the piece of string says, "No, I'm afraid not." Yes!
Brilliant.